Stacey, do you want to talk about starting solids
Yep.
with Georgia?
Yeah. So Georgia, and it's good for the other women to hear this too, because I always think it's good. The earlier we kind of get messaging in about solids, it's really good. We have a National Health and Medical Health Research, I can never say it, council that gives us guidance, and their recommendation for solids is around 6 months, but not before 4 months. Hello. Yeah. Cool, thank you. All good, my 1 o'clock appointment's come. Perfect. No, and so it's around 6 months, but not before 4 months. We do know in reality we have women and GPs and paediatricians recommending start babies at 4 months. But we do know the benefits of breastfeeding exclusively for 6 months is very beneficial. I think what's clever is they've softened the word to around 6 months, and that makes it really nice for us. So it doesn't have to be on 6 months, It can be around 6 months. What we look for with babies is signs of readiness for food. And so head control is one of them, looking interested in food is another, opening their mouth when we're offered. Typically, babies will have a bit of a tongue thrust as well. So when we offer them food, they push it out straight away. What the National Health and Medical Research, whatever it is called, council tells us in their infant feeding guidelines is it takes 40 days from when we start offering baby food to actually to then consume a bit. So I do think sometimes starting a tiny bit before 6 months is good. It's really your personal choice of how you want to go forward. There's no right or wrong. Everybody has their own journey. When you're normally touching with a maternal and child health nurse at 4 months, we like to talk to you about that. What we do find is some women have already started and others want the guidance. Guidance around there on raising children. There's some beautiful allergy websites called Prevent Allergies that talks about the 9 allergy foods that you need to introduce. And what we tend to do, there's certainly baby weaning out there and there's purees out there. There's lots of confusion as well as, from breastfeeding, intro to solids is a bit of another confusing world. From mothers groups that I've done before, one woman will find a book she really likes and shares that. I think it's just keeping it simple too. What we know is the iron reserves on a baby and from breast milk at 6 months start to deplete. And so we want to lead with iron-rich foods. So sometimes the baby cereals can be quite good like that. You can puree meat, you can let them suck on meat. Often I say to mums, give the baby the frozen corn on the cob to suck on and enjoy, because then they're doing a developmental thing. They're coordinating their hand to their mouth. At 4 months, typically, you might have seen this already, Georgia, the babies start to dribble at 4 months. They start to put everything in their mouth at 4 months and they have to learn to swallow that dribble back, but that takes time. But 4 months is this oral stage. So giving that baby even an apple core or an apple to suck on, really big things can be nice and tasty, a big hard carrot stick to even just chew on, or celery stick, not that they're consuming it, but they're tasting it. So it's a bit of that baby-led weaning, but it's a bit of them getting them ready. There's rusks out there, there's a lot. There's a lot more to talk about solids. So with solids, we start with a teaspoon. Typically it's a puree once a day, and then we kind of each day then we add another food. So often people will start with maybe mashed potatoes or pumpkin and then just lead up for another food, add potatoes and pumpkin, the next day add broccoli. We want to have iron in there, so we can either add some of the baby cereal like Pharax, which is high in iron, a teaspoon to the potatoes and pumpkin, or we can add some pureed meat, or we can let them have a suck on a steak or a bone. There's lots of different ways. We add water when we're doing boiled water, cooled water when we start doing solids. Is there anything specifically that you want to talk about, Georgia, with solids, or just a bit of a general talk? It is a fast general talk you're getting.
Yeah, I think just general. I was a bit confused that, I'd heard a lot about baby-led weaning, and then my match nurse had said, we don't recommend baby-led weaning. And so then I was kind of like, I'm a bit confused. But I kind of just assumed we would just kind of get started and find our way and find what worked for us and what suited us. When she's not showing signs that she's really ready right now, so I'm not in any rush, but just starting to kind of think ahead.
Yeah, beautiful. And ACT Health have done a statement against baby-led weaning. They just worry about the choking risk. I think whenever you're going to start solids, you want to think, okay, get some information about choking and CPR. There's some little, choking videos on, not videos, but like tips on how, if your baby is choking on raising children. But also Sydney Children's, called Kids Health, has some nice little 3-minute videos on choking and CPR you can watch. So you want to be queued up on all that. You're going to watch and sit with your baby anyway. That's kind of their philosophy, why they come away from baby-led weaning. We know women choose baby-led weaning, and they're slower to consume solids initially, but then by a couple of months later, they're doing it by themselves and independently feeding themselves. Some people do a mix of both purees with a spoon and finger feed. Typically, if you ACT have this From Milk to More resource document, and they also have a Intro to Solids webinar you can book into once a month. I'm not called. If you go to clinic, they'll show you it anyway. And if you look on Match website, it gives you links to it. But there's beautiful resources out there. There's no right way, like parenting, no right way in solids. And culturally, we all do differently. Greek people give beef stock soup, and everybody does it differently. It's different, yeah. But I kind of think sometimes there's always mixed messaging in the timing as well. But watching your baby, beautiful, yeah.